Here is the fastest and most brutally efficient way to edit in Audacity like a boss. Once you've got your recording, select it all, go to Tools, go to Macro Manager, create new, silence maker, or whatever you want to call it, insert, add a noise gate, okay, insert, detach at silences, and then insert and truncate silences. Set the noise gate to look like this. You may need to fiddle with this a little bit just to make sure it's not cutting off the end of where you're talking or the start of where you're talking. And then truncate silence, make sure it looks like this. Same thing, and you may want to make this a little bit bigger depending on the pace at which you deliver your recordings. Essentially what this does is squashes any noise in the recording, so any of these gaps gets taken down to nothingness essentially, and then it detaches at those silences, so it puts splits essentially where there is no noise, and then it truncates those silences, so it takes the silence and then deletes it and then shrinks the space that's left to, you know, however much you've set it as. So I'll show you what that looks like. You apply the macro, silence maker, and then that's essentially what it's done. It does leave little bits like this, but that's okay because that means that the end of your speech and the beginning of your speech is not getting cut off. Now, the quickest way to actually cut this is go to Edit, Preferences, go to Shortcuts, go to Clip, type in Clip, and then Previous Clip and Next Clip. I have these set to comma and period so that I can use my right hand to flick between each clip very quickly, and then I also use my right hand to hit the delete key, and then left hand is just on the space bar essentially. I don't use the mouse for the majority of my audio editing now. It is just like this, and I'll show you what that looks like. Is actually because you can just go like that, and that way if you've got multiple takes you can just flick to it. Most brutally efficient. You can see, oh, I don't need that in there, then delete the next part. Way to edit like a boss, and then just leave it like that. Now, the other thing is to have it shift back like that when you delete stuff. Go to Edit again, Preferences, and then go to Tracks, and then Track Behavior, and then just enable editing a clip can move other clips. And that way, yeah, everything gets pushed back when you delete stuff. The only real problem with this setup is that, say you wanted to delete this but leave the gap there, the best way to do it is to just slide that down like that, and then delete it. It's a bit makeshift, it's a bit messy the way I've done this, but I can attest to the fact that doing it like that, like flicking between clips like this, is infinitely faster, at least for me in my workflow. Going through a recording like this and then delete this part and then listen through and looking at it visually, to me is very mentally draining, and having it all segmented like that makes it much simpler, and how quickly you can flick between each segment when it's cut up like that makes it a breeze to edit, whereas before, editing audio was by far the worst part of the entire process to me. So I hope that helps. Here is the fastest and most brutally efficient way to edit in Audacity like a boss.